DCFM 88.9. We were going to have Bonnie Raitt, but he's early. I can't believe it. Matthew Dickerson is early. The late... We'll do Tech Talk. Why not? I can't believe this. Oh, here we go. We'll press the button and you've got to listen to this because you like it, don't you? Okay, all right, here we go.
It's time now for the latest news on what's hot and what's not in the world of technology with Matthew Dickerson on Tech Talk. Here on DCFM 88.9.
Morning, Matthew. What brought you here so early?
I think I'm just on time this week, Richard, which might seem like I'm early.
It's 23 past 9. Yes, you are on time for once in your life. Mate, someone asked me last night why I was devastated and about Newcastle, and I can tell you right now, when you gave me this story about a driverless bus in Newcastle, I thought, that's fair enough. I don't mind that, but it's where it's going. It's going on Newcastle's major drag strip.
I know.
Past the beach.
The Newcastle song comes to mind, doesn't it? You had that image of driving down Hunter Street in Newcastle.
Yes, exactly. And it's ruined all my images of Newcastle. Then it goes down past Nobbies and so on. There's an automatic bus. Yeah. Why?
Well, it sounds fantastic to me. And they're talking about this as the first trial of an autonomous bus in this country. Yep. It's happening around the world, but here in Newcastle, first trial ever. And I think the idea is fantastic, where you'll have a set route. So people are a bit nervous about autonomous cars still. There's obviously a lot of trials going on. Millions of miles have been driven by Google cars, for example, in autonomous mode. But people are a bit nervous about just getting in a car and going from anywhere to anywhere. But a bus that's got a set route, they feel a little bit more comfortable, and they've been running this already. It started at the beginning of the school holidays, so they've been running for a few days already. They've been interviewing people, and people are saying, I feel okay, I feel comfortable on this bus because it's going on a set route. There is a person sitting at the front of the bus, but they're not touching any controls. There are no controls in the bus. They've got an emergency stop button if they need to use that, but they can't take control of the bus if they wanted to. They can't just grab a steering wheel because there isn't a steering wheel in there. So the person in there is really there just to keep an eye on things and more or less make people feel comfortable until the end of the 3-month trial, when they'll decide either to keep going with it or to maybe stop.
All right, so the boys are dropping a wheelie, near Newcastle Beach. You know exactly that road I mean. Yeah. They drop a wheelie there, right, in front of the bus. What happens?
The bus just continues on, and if it
hits the car?
Well, no. If it senses something there, it'll stop. It'll slow down. It uses cameras and radar sensors to control what's around it or to know what's around it. So the same as autonomous cars all around the world, they're using a combination of lidar, so basically a radar, and they're using cameras to detect it. And there's different arguments about whether radar is better or cameras are better, but this particular one uses both.
Yep. Okay. I'm just saying. Your car and my car has automatic parking. We've got sensors and we can back in and we watch your steering wheel go round and round while you're parking around them all backwards. It's all good fun. Yeah. And you can watch people watching the car while you're doing it. So the bus is the same.
Yeah, the bus is the same. And again, they're using all this technology, but because it's a set route, that makes it, in my mind, a little bit more comfortable for people to get around. And one person that was interviewed said they had their complete confidence in putting in their address into Google Maps and going and following that technology from A to B, and they said this is just the next logical extension, which it is, but again, the set route is the thing that makes people feel more comfortable in the autonomous.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, the Australian Taxation Office crashed, and we had New South Wales service crash last night while people were trying to get vouchers to get from Victoria into New South Wales, and vice versa, for those poor people in Albury-Wodonga.
Do you think we could use this as an excuse? You know, the dog ate my homework, the tax office site was down, I couldn't do my tax this year, Mr. Taxman. Do you think he'd accept that?
No.
In a word.
In a word, no. I know what the ATO are like.
Yeah, and it is disappointing because they've had this experience before, if you remember, with the old MyGov website. That was down when there was some, I suppose, claims there from the relevant minister about a denial of service attack. And finally, in Parliament, he admitted that actually it was just a bit busy on that site, so MyGov crashed. And they didn't learn from that experience. On the 1st of July, because of COVID money being around, superannuation claim money being around, you would have thought they would have ramped up the infrastructure. And when you've got cloud infrastructure now, you can actually ramp up in busy times and ramp back down in non-busy times. 1st of July, I would have thought they would have been somewhat aware that lots of people were going to be active on the site. They wanted to get money out as quickly as they possibly could, get returns back, a whole range of things, and it just couldn't handle the traffic. And you got a nice little sign on the site when you went there, and it said, sorry, we're a bit busy at the moment, come back later.
Yeah, well, it happened with service last night.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that one.
Well, they downloaded 40,000 of those exemption forms, and
Right.
then it completely crashed.
Right.
And it started about 8:30. I noticed the police started policing cars on the border from about 11 o'clock last night.
Yeah,
Quite
right.
interesting. I watched the SBS late news.
And this
saw
is the
that.
thing, we have the technology now to
Yes.
be able to ramp up and
Yeah.
ramp down. So there's
Can't
no
understand
excuse
it.
now for a government website or any major business. If a major business puts a special on and they're going to have lots of traffic on their website, they ramp up because they want to be able to catch all that business. So there's no real excuse for it. It is a bit disappointing, and I wish I could get out of paying my tax because of it, but no.
No, that's very poor, Matthew. Extremely poor. Okay, the birds, the bees, or bits and bytes.
It is fascinating. Parents
Parents,
in a recent
yeah.
survey said they're more comfortable talking about the birds and the bees. So talking about sex with their kids, which is something that most parents find very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
They're more comfortable talking about sex than they are talking about technology. And one of the main issues is the kids know more than the parents. So there's not much good sitting down getting some advice or giving some advice to your kids. You want to give your kids knowledge to go and attack the big wide world, but when it comes to technology, parents feel out of touch, parents feel out of date, even just the acronyms. And I actually learned a new one when I was reading this story. So you've got all the standard ones at BRB, Be Right Back, LOL,
Yep.
Laugh Out Loud, or it used to be lots of love, now it's
Yep,
Laugh Out
Laugh
Loud.
Out Loud, yep.
But I saw a new one, PAW, Parents Are Watching. I like that one. So
PAW.
PAW, I'm
Yeah,
going to keep
heard
an eye
that
on
one.
my
That's
kids
a good
now
one, yeah.
and see if I see a text go through that says PAW and they go, right, they're onto me, so they know I'm watching.
PAW.
But this is the thing, there is so much happening in the technology world and parents find it almost overwhelming. A lot of the parents surveyed in this survey said that they actually go to their kids for advice about technology rather than the other way around, which again kind of throws out that whole idea of a parent being there to get your child up to the right age and let them go out and explore the world. They're now going to their kids and saying, hey, can you give me a hand with this? Because I don't understand. I want to put a TikTok video up. How do I do that? And their kids would laugh at them and say, don't do it, Mum and Dad.
Yeah, we'll get on to TikTok in a minute. But very quickly, I've said on the air on numerous occasions, look, if you're listening out there, grandparents, mums and dads, ask the kids, they'll know.
That's right, exactly right.
With they had to download something or other recently, and I said, oh yes, it was for age and disability. I said, if you're out there, ask your grandchildren, they'll know.
Yeah.
And
And we've seen that with the
that'll
COVID-19 app. We've had a lot of parents and grandparents come in with their kids, helping them download the COVID-19 app and install that, etc. So, yeah, kids are there, but it is interesting that people are, or parents are, a little bit daunted, overwhelmed, scared, concerned about actually having those conversations with their kids, probably because they'll be concerned about their lack of knowledge being shown up.
Yeah. Not on your notes, but I want to ask you about TikTok. Tic-tac-toe, again, Chinese.
Yeah.
1.6 million people in Australia are using it.
Yep.
And it was clearly stated the other day from security in Canberra that it is being watched by the communist government, and they are gathering information about all the people who use it. Your thoughts?
Oh, look, what a clever way for a government of a
Totalitarian
Yeah,
country,
yeah, I was trying to put it very nicely, but yes, so basically having a dictator come up with an idea of, hey, how can we gather lots of information on people, have people share all these intimate moments, share all these things from their homes, from their businesses, a whole range of things. How can we do that? Now, they might have strategized about that for decades in the past. Someone came up with the idea of just say, hey, let's just let people post all this information. They'd be sitting back there laughing to themselves going, I can't believe what people are sharing with us, because people share so much. When they're doing a video, when they're sharing something online, they share way too much, in my opinion. And so that just exposes them to a whole range of potential things that might happen to them. And so, yeah, I suppose do it if you want to do it, that's fine, but just have a look what's in the background, have a look at what you might be sharing, have a look at what someone that might have some devious thoughts might want to do with that information and see
Indeed.
if you're comfortable still then posting it.
Indeed, and I just think that whole thing being watched by the Chinese government, TikTok, no.
Yeah.
It shouldn't, and I really think the government should ban it.
And I'm sure in America, or sorry, in China, people are probably thinking the same thing about the Facebooks and the YouTubes of the world, saying we don't want these American people
Yeah.
watching what we're doing. So again, share what you're comfortable sharing with your worst enemy. Share what you're comfortable sharing with someone that might have thoughts that aren't honest and pure, and then go ahead and share it. But be careful what you do out there online.
Yeah, indeed. And same goes for Huawei. The FBI in America this morning has warned everybody in America not to use Huawei in any way, shape or form, not having anything to do with it, because Huawei is gathering as much information as can from the UK, us and America and Canada to use against us. That's what the FBI is saying.
And they're even going a step further. And now, imagine installing, for example, the UK, and they're reviewing this decision at the moment, but in the UK in the past have said they'll use some Huawei equipment to build their 5G network. Australia has said no. America has previously said no. But imagine that again, sitting around going, how can we gather more information on these other countries? What about if we install the mobile phone network and we just listen to every phone call, and they'd all have a bit of a chuckle and smoke their cigars, and then they've been able to manage to do it in some places. So again, that's where we've got to be conscious. I think our government's made the right decision, and the UK will review that, and who knows, they might change that decision. But that's a really good way to gather information. The next war, Richard, is not going to be fought with nuclear bombs dropped from the air or boots on the ground with troops coming along. The next war will be fought by people in bunkers on computers and attacking the basis of our economy, which is so much on technology.
That's
now.
right.
Yeah.
On screen.
So the more information they can gather, the more exposed we all are.
Exactly, and that's what the FBI are warring against, and they're right.
Yeah.
They're right, you're right, and you're right to go now.
Thank you very much. Thanks, boss.
Thanks, Matthew. We'll see you next Wednesday morning for more Tech Talk here on DCFM 88.9. Right now, though, let's have Bonnie rate. And she's got something to talk about as well. DCFM 88.9, 24 to 10.